My mum and dad's friends used to come in, and they'd go in kitchen and say, oh, give us an hour, we're just chilling. And we'd look through the door, we'd peep through the door and we'd see them. Smoke, chasing dragon, injecting. Look at the life we're living, because we had many heart-to-hearts. And I said, look at the life we're living, the windows are getting put through. I said, now you're buying drugs off my mates. Now my mates are coming to me in school going, we're buying drugs. I said, like we don't get enough shit for the lifestyle you are living. You know what I mean? Like, why do you do this? Why do you have drugs? Why do you do this? Why do you have drugs? And he said, I'll be honest with you, kids, I love you, but I love that more.
The Central Club.
Right then, we're rolling, yeah? Okay then. What's going on, people? Welcome to the Central Club. This episode is brought to you by Reinspire Printing and the City Arms. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the club, and hit the bell button to be notified of future content. Myself, being a recovering heroin and crack user, my own mission and the Central Club's mission is to change perceptions and eradicate stigma, those labels of being a junkie and a crackhead and a smackhead. But in life, as we know, everyone goes through different experiences, and some people go through addiction and others are on the receiving end of addiction. And I understand language that may be used with people's life journey. Today, we're very blessed to have a great podcast for you guys. Basically, we've got someone who is blown up on TikTok and other social media platforms. She's been through one hell of a journey. The way I discovered her was through one of her videos about crackheads, as she terms it. And yeah, I want to see her. I want to hear her story. I think there's more to this person. So I warmly welcome the Council Estate Queen.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm all right. I'm excited to be on my first podcast.
Yeah,
You've
made it.
Podcast. Probably my last.
Well, I don't know.
That's yet to be determined.
Yeah, no, well, thank you for coming, first of all. How's things?
All right, yeah, I can't complain. I'm still alive.
First time in Wales?
Not my first time in Wales, but my first time in Cardiff.
What do you think of it?
From the train station to this place, it's beautiful.
Yeah. In the short time you've been,
the 10 minutes I was walking down the street, beautiful.
You was outside. We went and got some water then, and you was like, "Everyone's speaking Welsh," and I was like, "No, they speak in English. They just sound Welsh.
Yeah,
none of us speak Welsh here."
I was like,
"That's North Wales.
Are we in a different country? Like, which stop have I got off on this train?"
Yeah. And funny enough, I wouldn't say you're a TikToker. That can be determined by yourself. But we've only ever done one of the guests who was from TikTok, and that was Luke Bennett. But we were going to do another TikToker called the Billionaire Gifter. That, we just thought it would have been funny to interview this guy. And when we said we're in Wales, he was like, "Oh, fuck that, that's another country." As if we were like millions of miles away. We're probably...
Get your passport, we're going Wales.
Yeah, But yeah, Cardiff's a nice place, capital city of Wales. And I'm glad you're here.
Oh, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no worries. Okay then, so the first thing I want to know is, what does it take to be a Council Estate Queen?
Well, you need to be good at shoplifting. No, I'm only joking. We'll do the serious answer.
No, you do you.
So I call myself the Council Estate Queen because I feel like I've been in the grimy, dark side of the council estates and I've got out of it. And I make comedy skits about growing up on a council estate. But it's also to raise awareness that you don't just need to become a product of your environment, or being on a council estate doesn't mean that you're at cash converters every 5 minutes or you're smoking crack on corner, and even if you are, you don't always have to be.
Yeah. Okay, and well, from the introduction, I kind of gave my reason to why I think, we should have you on here. But why did you want to come on the podcast?
Well, because I'm a comedy creator and I did start off by doing comedy skits growing up with a crackhead, don't smoke crack.
Yeah.
I think it's important to show a serious side and a different side because I don't want it to look like I'm just bashing a community or, you know, if you grow up on a council estate, it means you haven't got a job or anything, you know, and because I do these comedy skits, it can look like that, but there is a whole side to the clown on TikTok. So yeah, I just wanted to do that, show a different side of me because I do get some comments, you know, on the trolls, oh, go and get a job, or why do you speak so fast? Are you on drugs? You know, so.
And do you ever get the comments like someone like myself? Maybe you'll be like, why are you bashing drug addicts?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I have had
as
that.
well?
Yeah, because you said that you actually seen some of my videos, didn't you?
Yeah.
What was your opinion? Be honest.
I just thought, I thought very small. You're just being very small-minded here, and
Stereotypical.
like, yeah. You know,
Yeah.
and I think it's just weird. I've you know, I probably wasn't your stereotypical crack user anyway. Like, you know, I was very lucky that I could still present myself and not look back at photos. I look terrible in some of them, but I you know, I
like
felt
a functioning drug user.
yeah, like, and you know, I had like I felt like I had some sort of moral compass. You know, I was a fucking thief. You know, and I'd blag you for anything, but you know, I wasn't a burglar. I wouldn't steal off old people. You know, that whole package that comes with a crackhead. You know,
Yeah.
And I just thought, like, wow, if you've been through that, then don't slam
Yeah.
others, because I just feel like the same with, you know, LGBTQ communities, with you know, being you know, race. All these things have progressed so much now that it's accepted, but I feel like addiction hasn't, especially if you're a heroin or a crack user.
Yeah, you're just labelled as a dirty crackhead or
Yeah.
a dirty smackhead.
And it was just that. That's
Yeah.
all it was,
No, and
you know. And I just wanted to know your side.
Yeah, but that's a natural reaction because when I did these videos growing up with a crackhead, when I first started on TikTok, everyone thought it was a joke because it was. I put it across as a joke, you know, but it's not a joke because I grew up around drug abuse. My parents were crackheads and smackheads and they got called that. Dirty crackhead. I got judged when I walked down the street. People had crossed the road. Oh, that's the crackhead's kid. Dirty face. Don't let them in your house. They'll steal something, you know. So I had all that, you know, and I bet that's surprising to you because, again, you said you'd seen the videos and you didn't see that behind the comedy skits, and a lot of people didn't, and they thought there was a joke. But then I did get comments, you know, when I carried on doing them, you know, they started gaining traction, obviously, and I was getting comments saying, oh, are these real? Because I grew up with a crackhead, or my brother's a crackhead or a drug user, or whichever terminology, you know, there was different ones. And then I started to let people in that, no, actually, I've been through this and I grew up with crackheads, but they're not just crackheads. You know what I mean? They've got moral compasses, they're people. And I started doing the serious side of it. And I don't know if you would have seen some of them because you know what it's like on social media and have multiple accounts. And if you're not on there, you might not see it for a few months. But yeah, no, I'm completely in the same frame of mind as you. Like, it started as a joke, but I wasn't taking the piss out of anyone.
And if you are, you know, that's great as well. Like,
How I've seen it is, if you get the kids young with a humour, you know, then you make them think. So it started off as a joke. And then when I started getting comments saying, is this real? I thought, right, well, I can just, you know, what do they call it? The fourth wall, where you don't even engage with it and you just keep doing comedy skits. You don't engage with the comments, let everyone think it's a comedy skit. But then I thought, I've got an opportunity here to show that, you know, no, I'm not just growing up with a crackhead because I've just decided to use a crackhead as my joke to get views on the internet, you know?
And I think as well, like, if you're, this is the angle I'm trying to say as well, is if you are trying to get the kids with the humour, you're also getting the kids to think of that word crackhead.
Well,
and
true.
that's where it was, you know?
Yeah.
But the same way you're coming on, like you've just said, the reason I'm coming on here is to show people that, you know, it's not just about comedy and I want to show the real side.
Yeah.
It's the same mission I'm on to change. We're both trying to change the way something is looked upon, aren't we?
Yeah.
So that's good. And I think we can talk into that a bit.
Yeah.
But I think what we'll have to do is go into your story to find out, you know, why you become the person you are
Do
today.
I need a solicitor?
No.
We're joking. Sorry.
No, but I was going to say something. Wait there.
I've cut you off, Anna. Sorry.
No.
The
That's all right.
worst.
What was I going to say? That was it. Yeah, no, we will go into that. But I think, first of all, just for the people, because we've just jumped on about you being a council estate queen, some people won't know a fucking clue what you do. Can you give us a little run through of your social media following? You know, how many followers have you got? What platforms you on? And
Yeah, so I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. I started on TikTok, and I've got 1 million followers on TikTok, but over 2 accounts. I wish I had them on 1 account, but... and then I've got nearly 100,000 followers on Instagram and nearly 250,000 on Facebook.
wow.
So we're doing all right, yeah.
And how long, over what period?
Over 4 years.
Wow.
Well, it started on TikTok 4 years ago, and I actually lost a few big accounts. So I actually lost a 300k account and a 400k account. So nearly close to 1 million followers there, gone.
Well, I think it's, we've had accounts lost, and it's like the most deflating
Have you lost
feeling
accounts
ever.
as well?
Yeah,
There you
it's
go. Have you got them back? Have I got them back?
I've got one of them back. It's quite deflating, isn't it? But I think what that shows is that you resonate with people. You've got a formula that's working. Because if it was just the odd one, yeah, and you lost it and you tried again and you didn't win it back, I wouldn't say the first one would be a fluke, but you know, maybe that might have passed the trend. But the fact that you've lost accounts and you're back to where you are just shows that, you know, you resonate with a lot of people.
I'm joking.
No, would you agree with that then? Like,
Yeah, but I'm very humble as well. And I guess it's a personal preference. I don't know. I think people follow me for the comedy. But then I think when I started
he goes, what?
What comedy? But then when I started letting people into my real life about growing up around drug abuse and that, I want to create my own foundation to help the kids and to not go down that path. You know, I think maybe people follow me for bits of that as well. But I don't know. It's hard to tell, you know, unless you hold a Q&A with your audience. Be a good one. Why do you follow me?
So take us back then. Like, where are you from?
I'm from Salford, Manchester.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And how was your upbringing? Take us back. Come on. Like.
First memory.
Yeah.
Police coming through the door, arresting my dad because he's probably stole something for his drug habit. Where I don't know the ins and outs because I was a child, so we didn't get told exactly what. But it was like, oh, your dad's been a naughty man again. You know, when the police would knock on the door, we'd know him first name basis. Hey, Paul, you all right, Lily? Is your dad in? Come to take him away. He's been a naughty man again. You know, one of them. So that was like, I knew that, you know, that was normal to us.
So, yeah, this was total normality. There was never a time where, was you upset when this would happen? Or was it just like...
because I was a daddy's girl, me. I got on with my dad more. So I was upset when he'd go. Because when he would go as well, it'd get more difficult at home because my mum had a lot of mental health issues. And then because they were both using drugs, when my dad, they'd like balance each other out, you know, like, it's like, how can I explain this? So it was usually my dad that would be always making us the meals, going getting shopping. So when he was in prison, that wasn't getting done as much, you know what I mean? So they were the worst times, I'd say.
Neglect. Hunger.
Yeah, neglect, like being screamed at, shouted at. So, like I say, because my mum's serious mental health issues and then the drug abuse, she'd be having psychotic episodes and she'd be like, she'd take all the food from out the cupboards downstairs and take it in a bedroom. And then she'd be like, you eating it too quick? And we'd be like, well, make us a meal. And it's like, oh no, just here's a bag of crisp, you know? So it was like that kind of thing. And then we'd have to knock on a door and say, please, sir, can we have some more? Like Oliver Twist. And then she'd give us some sometimes, or I'd have to like argue with her. And sometimes it'd turn into an altercation. And I had younger siblings, so I was always the one knocking on the door, you know, asking for the food or whatever. So yeah, that was like pretty much my childhood. It wasn't always like that though. There was good times on payday when they got paid. And, you know, they try and like take us on little holidays, you know, to seaside and stuff. But, you know, that, you know what it's like. You'd be on the train and then they'd be like, oh, let's just nip into the toilet. And then we'd be getting kicked off the train because they'd be smoking crack in toilets. So then, yeah, no seaside for us. It'd be like, you know, straight back home then. What's the point? We've been kicked off the train.
2 stops before the beach, like.
Yeah. Or one time.
But too long way.
We'd get a quick go round teacups and then come on, off you pop, if we did make it there.
Yeah, it was everything like half. It was never a full day outing sort of thing.
Yeah, it was like as the children, we knew about the adult worries, whereas children are sheltered from that, aren't they? You know, it's like, I don't have children, and this is why.
I was going to say, you don't have children, do you?
But I want to foster kids. I've always wanted to foster, but I never wanted to have children and bring them into a situation that I wasn't in control of, because I knew my parents loved me and didn't wake up every day and go, let's smoke crack and neglect our kids. But it happens because a disease takes over your mind, your body and your soul.
I think that's another perception, which I'm really sorry I judged you on. I actually thought you was a mother.
Yeah. No. No kiddies for me. I was scarred from having them because, again, you know, like growing up, I knew my parents loved me because they tried. You know, they tried to do a nice Christmas, even if all the presents would get took down cash converters a week later. You know, they try and make it special. So we felt the love, but it was very apparent and obvious that there was another love of the life that took over. You know what I mean?
How often would your father go to prison?
I'd say it was more so when we was kids. And I think that was probably because they was younger as well, you know, living fast life.
Yeah.
But then as the kids get
a grafter.
Yeah. So he was in and out of jail a lot. I'd probably say half my childhood he was in jail, but it was 3 months do 6, you know, for petty crime and petty theft. Yeah, shoplifting. But like you said earlier, my dad had never robbed an old lady on the street. My mum had never, you know, do anything like that. There is a moral compass. And I always knew that growing up.
Was you always, what kind of emotion was you feeling? Was you scared? Paranoid?
Every emotion under the sun. So at times I'd be scared because like drug dealers had kicked the door through as well, because my dad would be either selling drugs or buying drugs or stealing drugs, or I don't know. We wasn't told the ins and outs, but we knew that the door's being booted through. My dad's being beat up right in front of me. There was some gangsters well known in Salford years ago, and they was really scary. Yeah, they was round to my house with this is 20 years ago, so I feel comfortable talking about this because I'm not out in anybody's current business. But 20 years ago, it was known that they was, you know, you don't mess about with them. And if you do, you're not seen again. And there was a time when they come to my house and they blocked both sides of the street off with Range Rovers. And they come to the house and they told my mum to get the kids out because they wanted a word with my dad. My mum's screaming and all, you know, crazy. And obviously she's probably intoxicated and she does suffer with mental health. And drugs don't help that, do they? So, she's screaming and shouting. So we're all, as kids, we're like, something bad's going on here. But we took away from the house and then my dad gets beat up. But the police come. When the police come, I run over to the house then. I'm like, because I knew something bad was happening because this wasn't the first time that people had been to my house and beat my dad up. So, yeah, the police come and then said, what's going on here then, Paul? Like to Paul, to these people. Oh, just having a word with me, mate, John. They went, oh, all right, see ya. And walked out. Well, this is like 20 years ago, you know. And I don't know if that's because my dad was known to the police for being, you know, probably wasting police time a lot and having them chasing him around town for petty crimes. So they were paid off.
Or they were scared.
They were scared. Yeah. I didn't think about that actually. But yeah, that was like, that happened. And then they tried to take him out in the Range Rover, never to be seen again. And then me and my brother was running over screaming, please don't take me dad, please don't take me dad. And he's all busted up. He's like broken ribs, broken arm, everything, because they've gone to town and him, you know, in the house. And then they didn't take him, luckily, because we were screaming. And then they come back round a week later and apologised to my dad and give him some money and said mistaken identity. Yeah. But then, you know, fair play though in that way, because, you know, gangsters don't usually do customer service like that, you know. But that was back in the day, I think, when...
No, I think some gangsters probably do. They had the respect then, didn't they?
That's it, you know, it's that kind of respect on the streets.
Old school.
Yeah. But because I grew up around that, I resisted against it because I was scared, you know, when that happened. There was times I hated my life. I wanted to kill myself. I didn't want to be here anymore, you know, hungry. There was times I'd come home from school, my mum would be ODing. I had loads of tablets, can't cope, booze, pills everywhere.
What would you, you know, if your mother's hiding the food under the bed in a bag because your dad's in prison, and you know she can't cook maybe, or just you know whatever's wrong with it, what would you do to feed yourself?
Well, if she wouldn't give it up, I'd have to go to a neighbour or go and steal it from a shop. Pretty much.
And what, cook it for you? And
well, I'd just get stuff like bread and stuff because I was a bit of a kid and I didn't really know. I wasn't taught how to cook or anything, so...
Just eat bread raw, toast, what?
Yeah, just eat toast and stuff like that, or things. I remember once there was nothing in the house at all except sugar, butter, well, margarine, butter. Who do we think we are?
I believe it's not
we ain't
butter.
got butter. Margarine, sugar and carrots. So I made a carrot cake for me and my siblings and had to be like, come on, we're having a cake. Because it was the only thing to eat because my dad was in jail. She'd have been on a crack binge for 3 days. Now she's sleeping for 3 days. Fend for yourself, innit? And that's pretty much... And it was like that, you know, up and down. But some days were good. It wasn't always bad. But it was very inconsistent and unstable, you know, and it was a mix of all that.
You know, looking back, do you look at your parents and, you know, they were just hard work, they were just bad people, or do you think that they did love you and care about you?
I always felt
just
the love.
illness?
I always knew. Like, there were situations when there was an old lady walking down the street and she dropped a purse and my dad went over and give it her. Yeah, I love you, drop your purse. You know what I mean? So I knew they were good people and there was a disease. And I remember, you know, when you're a kid and, you know, you don't really know because they're like, you go in that room and we're going in here with our friends and you don't know what's going on. My mum and dad's friends used to come in, you know, and they'd go in the kitchen and say, oh, give us an hour, we're just chilling. And we'd look through the door, we'd peep through the door and we'd see them.
Oil and
Smoke, chasing dragon, injecting, everything like that. So then we'd be asking questions, you know, like when you're like 8, 9, 10, like, what you doing? You know, and they'd be like, oh, we're diabetic, your mum's diabetic, you know, and all the excuses like that. Because you're kids and you're inquisitive, aren't you? But then I think when we got to when I got to 10, because I was the oldest, I sat down with my parents and said, like, you know, we know you do drugs. We know you have drugs. Just tell us, or at least do it in front of us so we can spend time with you. I remember, I know. I forgot about that memory. It's just come back to me, that. And then...
say that again.
So we'd say to him, we know you do drugs, and instead of locking us away in another room, just do it in front of us so we can spend time with you. You know, because it was like getting another room, or, yeah, we'll go to the park. We'll just be another hour. Just count to 100 elephants and we'll be at the park. And then we'd get to 100 elephants and it'd be like, it's too late now. We'll go tomorrow. Because they're high, you know, the high's kicked in on it. So it's like they want to go. You know, they've got a good heart. They love the kids. And we felt that. But it was apparent that they love that more. And bringing it back to doing the comedy skits, you wouldn't know that, you know, and again, like yourself, you know, oh, she's just judging crackheads. But that, like I say, it was just a comedy skit. I was just doing a comedy skit like Shameless. I just needed a hook line, you know, like growing up with crackhead. And I thought, you know, I can tell loads of funny stories about that, but make it into comedy. And it's catchy growing up with a crackhead, you know. But then I started doing the serious talks because I did get questions from people like yourself, you know, about bashing crackheads, or did you really go through this? Or...
And I totally understand where you're coming from. I really, I do. Like, I just, the only thing I would say is just wording it different.
Well, that's it. And it's good to have.
A crack addict.
Yes. Growing
Just
up with a crack addict. I could do that.
Yeah. I just think the head, and people will probably say, oh, grow the fuck up, Cole.
No, it's not
But
about
that's how I
growing
feel.
up. No, and
no, I
that's...
do.
And that's fine.
I understand
that's okay.
how people would think that as well. Like, do you know what I mean? I just feel like I said
derogatory word. Yeah. And you know what? I'd never thought, obviously it is a derogatory word, you know, because I used to get called crackhead's kid and I didn't ever want to be associated with that, you know, and I never told anybody when when I got older, and I didn't just used to go up to people and go, oh yeah, just to let you know, my mum and dad were crackheads.
Yeah.
Just to let you know.
And just to put it out there as well, like I'm one person who did not give a fuck about what I was called. I call myself a junkie and a smackhead and a smack rat and a crackhead. I do, I'm just doing this for other people who I know, in the world of recovery I work as well. It affects people, and that's it, But the reason I got you on here was just to see where you're coming from, and I had my inklings. Like, obviously you have been brought up on this, but I wanted to know whether it was you resented them, you hated them, and that's why you call them crackheads.
Oh no, not at all.
Is it, as you said, to bring it in as just a bit of content?
Yeah, it started as content, like I say. I want to do some comedy skits. What can I do? And it was a choice: growing up on a council estate or growing up with a crackhead. And I thought, growing up with a crackhead is more shocking because it's the word crackhead. I get what you're doing. So it enticed people to watch these comedy skits more. And it was solely just like like Shameless, Frank Gallagher, the mum, the crazy mum and the mad kids. It was literally that, because I grew up on council estates and I wasn't trying to tell TikTok my whole personal business. I like having a laugh. But again, when they started getting attention and I started getting serious questions, I thought, I've got a responsibility here. I've got an opportunity to help people by sharing a bit more of behind the tagline, like you say, the derogatory word, and to let people in that know, just because you're a bad person, don't mean just because you make a bad choice, it doesn't mean you're a bad person. Just like my dad, who would go out and rob razors out of Tesco rather than rob an old lady on the street. And I'm not justifying his behaviour, but there is a difference.
But he's justifying.
Yeah, and I think he's sorry. No, go on.
He's choosing to do the less effective or the less traumatizing offense, let's say.
Yeah.
Stealing from a big corporate business rather than some old
poor
lady.
old lady. Yeah.
That's exactly how I looked at it when I was doing it.
Because I think because I'm so educated about the addiction, because I grew up around it, but it doesn't come across, like you say, watching a comedy video, it's just like growing up with a crackhead.
Yeah, and don't get it twisted. Yeah, nice people do drugs, but there's some fucking horrible cunts who do drugs as well. Excuse my French.
Yeah.
And we're not saying all drug users are angels and stuff, but Anyway, let's keep it moving on.
Yes.
On it, yeah. School. What was it like growing up in that environment? Clearly, the estate, knowing about your parents.
It was horrible.
What was it like going to school?
It was horrible. I was very quiet. I know, really quiet. Didn't want to draw attention to myself. Plus, I had a bit of a wonky eye as well. So
I can see that.
But yeah, I just didn't want to draw attention to myself. And I suppressed my personality because I was scared that if I was, well, hey, people would be like, oh, shut up, you're just a crackhead kid, you tramp. Because that's what I got. I couldn't walk up the estate without, your dad's fallen asleep on green box, off his head on diazes, and you get no respect, no one, you're just known as a crackhead kid. So I didn't want to bring anyone back to my house, didn't want to have a boyfriend, didn't want to have friends because I didn't want anyone to see, and judge me.
And nonetheless, was you judged?
Yes. By 99% of people.
Yeah.
But there was that 1%, friends, neighbours, that seen behind what were, the judgmental and yeah, they were the ones that give me that normality, that give me that light of this isn't all that's for you. There's more to life and there's more than being called a crackhead kid. And I had that mentality. So it's kind of like I just went through school knowing I was going to, get a bit of shit. So I didn't put myself out there as much. But I wasn't fully like, there is some people that get bullied really bad, and they can't even talk or anything. They stood in corner. Luckily, I still had a handful of, friends that I could chill with and that didn't judge me. So I still had my fun times in school, but mainly I went to school to get my dinner. Free dinner ticket, really. Well, yeah, I enjoyed school because I got fed and I had a few friends and it was an escape, from home.
And it wasn't just one school you went to, is it?
No, I went to a few, probably about three or four, including primary school and
why
high
did
school.
you change school?
Because we had to move area, because either our safety was being threatened by drug dealers, gangsters, criminal, whatever my dad had been doing, you know, to feed his habit.
Was your mum like the stay-at-home drug addict and your dad the one who made the dough?
Yes, pretty much. She was at home. I'd say, you know,
Bring me
looking.
the things back. And
Yeah. So she's going to stay upstairs in a bedroom while my dad goes out and, does what he needs
Hence
to
why
do.
when he went to prison,
Everything went worse. Yeah, because it was like a codependent relationship and they kind of balanced each other out. But then, when my dad was away, it tended to get worse. But then sometimes as well, it's very hard to say, because once or twice when my dad went to jail, my mum got clean. Yeah. So she said. I think used to happen is I think she'd go crazy, and then a week before my dad would get out of jail, she'd be like, right, let's get my shit together. You know? But when you're a child, you don't really see the layers of it, you know, and then when you get older, you start to see more.
Well, this is what I was going to say. As you get older, of course, at the beginning, you said, you know, let us in. Let us, we know you're using drugs.
Yeah.
Did that acceptance or that normality get bigger and bigger? Was there times where like your mum was like...
They would do it in front of us, yeah. But they didn't, like I say, go, right, okay, then let's just start doing it. They'd be like, no, we'll be out soon kind of thing. But then and they did hide it still. You know, it was always kind of a secret. But then it was more like, we're just going upstairs for an hour. You know, and then rather than us going, why, what you doing? It was like, we already know, here's some sweets, shut up, we're going upstairs for an hour. You know.
Was it ever a time that you thought, either one day I'm going to take this, I'm going to be like my mum and dad?
I was offered it by my mum. She offered it me when I was 15, sorry.
Was you ever intrigued to take it?
No. I have tried other drugs though, as a teenager, you know, but I always had in the back of my mind, stay away from them hard drugs, because you don't want to be like that, you know.
Did you say something about your mother with the cigarettes and the ash?
Oh God, yeah. Traumatised by that good ash and the ashtray. So yeah, basically most parents they don't want you smoking. You know, if they catch you smoking, they shout at you. My mum would say, here's 20 Benson and Hedges, smoke them. And save me the good ash. And we're like, what do you mean the good ash? And she's like, don't put your cig out in the ashtray because you'll ruin the good ash. And I'm like, what do you mean good ash? And basically they use ash to smoke crack.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, I prefer an ash pipe.
Yeah, are you an ash pipe kind of guy?
I was an ash pipe guy. Like obviously, you know, people use the glass pipes because you can collect
they
your
can
crack.
Use a can of Coke or anything.
Well, the glass pipes people use is
and then
because
scrape it.
It collects more. You can use a can, an asthma pump. But I used to use a little Panda Pop bottle with a bit of water in, foil on the top. But with a glass pipe, you use wire wool. With ash, with an asthma pump can or a bottle, you use ash. So what you do is they're like logs, basically, like logs of ash.
Yeah.
So what you would do is you light 4 fags on the go and tilt them up like that and just let them burn. Because each time you use the crack, each time you have a pipe, you need ash. Mm-hmm. Because if you just stuck the crack on the foil, it won't generate smoke.
Yeah.
It'll just go straight through the foil. Mm-hmm. So you need the ash.
To mix it.
And the more ash you got and the thicker the bowl is, the better the smoke.
The smoother the smoke.
I loved an ash pipe.
Yeah. Well, I've never tried it. And I think because I know how addictive it is, you know.
So you be smoking 20 on the edge just to...
20 for me.
To load up your mum's pipe.
Yeah. And we was allowed to smoke anyway from a young age, you know. So like when we got to like teenagers, I say we because I had siblings, but I was the oldest. You know, I'd be like, Mum, can my friends come in and we'll give you a joint? You know, it was one of them. So it'd be like, yeah, go on. And then she'd come down and say, everyone make sure you use this ashtray. But then it's like, yeah. But then it's like, but half of my friends wouldn't question it. They just didn't get onto it. But then some of them knew what they were like, obviously, you know. Well, I guess everybody on the estate knew, but they wouldn't openly question it. It'd just be a regular thing. Here's the good ash.
Use that ashtray, guys.
Yeah, use the good ashtray.
Wow.
Oh.
Like, as you're telling me this story, like when I asked the question, do you think your mum loved you and your dad loved you? I don't need to ask that question. Like, I know, putting myself in their position, you know, I've done it with relationships where I've said, I'll be there now, I'll be there now, I'll be there now. And, you know, and you just,
Yes.
you know, like, he definitely loved you.
Yeah.
There's no two questions about it.
I know that. And I think that's...
The drug is so powerful.
Yes.
And...
Do you know what? I'll tell you this. I actually said when I was, like, say, you know, when I used to question it when I got a bit older, and I'd be like, we know you do it, just do it in front of us. And I said to my dad once, this was after I was 50, I think I was 14, 15, and I went to school, and one of the lads in school went, I sold your dad 2 Bobby and a Whitney last night, which is 2 brown and a white.
2 heroin.
2 heroin.
And 1 crack.
Yeah. And that was, for me, it was like, right, everybody knows in school, you know, it's like everybody knows, but then I'm starting to be, my personality's coming out. I'm becoming a bit popular for who I am, you know. So I was half and half in school. I was all right. Well, it's, you know, it can go either way, can't it? But balanced out. I wouldn't say I was a full-on bully victim all the time. I had good times in school as well.
You held your own.
Yeah, I held my own pretty much.
Through your upbringing.
Yeah, and as I got older, I got more quick with my mouth. And then as I got older as well, I realised that your insults to my parents, it's not an insult to me. It holds no power. Did
you start to insult your mum and dad? Would you throw mud at them first before someone else would? Would you take the mick out of your parents before someone else would?
Well, that's how I started. That's what I started to learn when you get older. If you take the power away and you take the piss first, then what have they got? And I learned that as I got a bit older.
Sad though, isn't it?
It is sad. Like, sorry, I go around the houses. Yeah, but you need a good editing guy for this. I said to my dad once, I come home from school, I said, Dad, look at the life we live in, you know, because we had many heart-to-hearts. And I said, look at the life we live in, you know, the house is scruffy. We've still got wallpaper for 7 years when we moved in from someone else who lived here. We've got 1 carpet that stinks of piss and disappointment. You know, the windows are getting put through. I said, now you're buying drugs off my mates. Now my mates are coming to me in school going, we're buying drugs. I said, like we don't get enough shit for the lifestyle you live in. You know what I mean? Like, why do you do this? Why do you have drugs? Why do you do this? Why do you have drugs? And he said, I'll be honest with you, kids, I love you, but I love that more. And do you know what? You think that would have crushed you. But for me, do you know what? It was a relief, because I thought, I know my parents love me, but I know now that they're never getting off this. Because, you know, we had I'll get off it, we'll get off it next week and we won't live like this anymore. We had that consistently growing up because, you know, the life we live in, you know, we'd start rebelling. Why are we living like this? We don't, you know, we'll get off it next week, we'll get off it next week. So once he said that blatantly real to me, a huge weight was lifted off my shoulder, and I was like, right, now I'm going to live for me now. You know, when I get out this house, I'm going to live for me, because I always knew that when I got to 16, I could go and get my own flat, and I could go and work, and I didn't have to live this lifestyle that somebody else is living. You know what I mean? Mm. And I love my parents, but I can't fucking stand this situation. And when I was younger, I hated her more, my mum, because I used to argue with her more. You know, my dad would be making the food. My dad would be like dragging her off me if it got physical. You know, my dad was the chilled guy. My mum was there. I'm not saying that they wasn't both wrong for having drugs, you know, and stuff, but I'm not saying one's bad than the other. Codependent relationship must be difficult, you know, but yeah, I forgot my point now. What was my point?
He was just talking about how, you know, your father did.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he said he loved the drugs more, but he was real about it, yeah.
And he said he'd never get off it. That's what he said. He said, I'll never get off it. I love it too much. Whereas my mum used to be like, I hate it. I hate being on drugs. Whereas my dad was like, I love it.
Before we go on about you know, moving away and stuff, your parents upped and left one day, yeah?
Yeah, I come home from school and it was like the Wizard of Oz. My house had blew away. And what was there? No, on a serious note, like I say, I was rebelling a lot with my parents. You know, you're buying drugs off my mates. You know, I'm a teenager. I'm having to get a paper round to get my own money to buy my own clothes so I don't get slagged off when I go out the house. So I was always rebelling. You know, I was the problem child. So when my dad was in jail and we'd have Christmas, my mum would kick me out at Christmas. All family had come and I'd be sat outside. She's the problem child. No, I'm the one that's telling you need to feed your kids. You know what I mean? So I come home from school one day and I'd not been there for 2 weeks. I'd been at a friend's, around corner because I'd gained relationships now with neighbours, friends, mums who knew the score, and I'd be like, oh, she can't go back there, let's stay here. Because I'd go back sometimes, it'd be fine. But then when I'd go back sometimes, I'd just be altercations with my mum all the time because we'd just be, so it wasn't worth it. And she'd kick me out with no shoes on my feet and all that and no clothes in the winter. So it just wasn't worth it. Anyway, I wasn't there for 2 weeks because of, whatever. And then I come back from school because I thought, I need to go home. It's been a 2 week. I need to go and change this bag of clothes I've got and see what the score is at home. And the house was empty, literally like empty. And I was like, what the fuck's going on here? And I was like, Mom, Dad. And they went, we're upstairs, love. So I walked up, because they was usually upstairs smoking crack. So I walked upstairs and I'm thinking, where's the carpet off? Where's the bit, that one carpet we've had for 30 years? Where's that gone? And then I opened my mum and dad's bedroom and they sat on a mattress on the floor, no furniture, nothing there, a few bin bags in corner and an old telly. And I said, what's going on? And it was dead nonchalant, like, oh, did we not tell you? We're moving out. I was just some dickhead on the street that they've not seen for years. I'd not been there 2 weeks. When did this happen? You know what I mean? But I felt like I was so upset and angry because I was like, I got that initial reaction, like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, and I said, where are you going? And then they was just like dead, like, just down the road, but it's only a 2-bedroom and there's not enough room for you because I had 2 younger siblings. But you're nearly 16 now anyway, so you'll be all right. And you can have this house until the council take it off you because they let you have 4 weeks either side, don't they, to move all your stuff out. So you'll be all right. You can get a flat, you can get on pennies, you'll be all right. I was like, right, I guess that's me then. But I was very independent anyway, because I was in and out, staying at friends. Yeah. So I said, right, so I stayed. They went that day. All right, see you later, love. Hold that door open for us. We're going to the new house. And, you think, you bastards. And I did. I thought, you bastards, like, you know what I mean? But then I thought, well, it's not like I'm 10. You know what I mean? Like, I guess I am nearly 16. I guess I can get my own flat. And that I did, but I did stay in the house for about a few days because I had nowhere to stay. And I've dragged the mattress from out my mum and dad's bedroom because I wasn't staying in there. And I brought it down to the living room and I put the telly in the living room because it was, the gas fire. And all gas and electric was wired up. So I could stay warm with a gas fire. And I stayed there a few nights and I thought, I'm not staying in this fucking shitty place. I'll go and stay at my mates. And then I'll put my name down at council, until I get a flat. And that I did. And then I went back a few days later and all windows had been put through on my house because, they thought it was empty, all the kids on the estate. But there was a big brick been put through the window and had landed on the mattress where I would have been sleeping. So thank God I only stayed for like 2 or 3 days and didn't stay longer. Because the kids, the kids had seen my mum and dad move out and all furniture and thought we'd all gone. So yeah, that was the time I come home from school and they'd moved out on me.
Was there any other instances like the ash, like any other kind of things that stick in your mind of living with your addict parents?
Well, the smell of fish and disappointment from smoking the heroin scars me. Like I can't mistake it. So, if I walk somewhere, not that people are smoking heroin on the street.
It was my favourite smell, that was.
Is that your favourite smell?
It was, not anymore.
Yeah, of course.
I loved it.
Yeah.
It was disgusting, but I loved it.
But that's it, yeah. I know. Smells like fish, yeah.
Metallic fish.
Yeah. So the house always smelling of fish and ash. But particular incidents, I'd say being dragged out my bed, in the middle at night and being took to different houses. Oh, my dad set the house on fire a few times. He fell asleep, daisied up with the eggs on the pan. And then it was just like, I just heard my mum screaming, get the kids out, the house is on fire. And we're in Bath. I think there was a few incidents. I remember being in Bath once and then my mum comes in, grabs us out the bath and we're out the house is on fire. That's what it's like. That's it, yeah. Oh, and also, I was playing out one day, I was younger. I lived in Walkden, Little Hulton at this time. This is before we moved to Salford. And I was playing, I was only about 12 and I was out. And then I just heard my name being shouted from around the corner and I was like, what's that? And then next thing, it's like, Lily. Like a few of my mates are running around the corner screaming me. I'm like, what? What's going on? They went, your mum's dead. I said, what? They went, your mum's dead. We can't wake her up. she's on the couch and she won't wake up. We think she's dead. So I like ran home. I was only about 10 minutes from home. And I ran in the house, and this is the time my dad's in jail. She's on the couch, you know, typical splattered out, booze, pills everywhere. She won't wake up. And I'm like, and then there's her friends who are also drug users rooting through cupboards, getting the meth, nicking meth.
Well, not trying to save her,
No, just trying to get the meth in it and get what they can.
The remnants of what's there.
Yeah, that's it. So I'm running over to her, I'm shaking her, Mum, wake up. And now there has been a few times where she's just been, you know, like on the drugs and like, you know, just asleep. So I was like, is she just asleep? And she won't wake up. And I was panicking, shaking her. And then her friend come over after robbing cupboards and threw some water on her and woke her up.
Robbing cupboards. It sounds like a name, doesn't it?
Robbing cupboards, yeah. And then, the ambulance come and checked her over. But I don't know if, I can't remember. I can't remember. I was so young, and there was a few incidents where she's OD'd or she's sliced a wrist from ear to ear and go and tell your dad, I'm going to kill myself. You know, like all that stuff, blood pissing all up the walls, all over us.
At this time, like, what did you think? Would it have been easy to stay on that kind of life with your parents?
Well, it was
and
almost
stuff,
encouraged, you know, like.
And did you think that that's what you was going to become, or did you know that I am not living this life? What did you want to be?
Yeah, well, I didn't know what I wanted to be, but I knew I didn't want to be that.
Yeah.
And because I didn't have any encouragement or any like, what do you like? Do you like drawing? Do you like singing? Do you like dancing? You know, we didn't go to no after school clubs. We were bagging up 3 for 25 on a weekend. We were going around with sponsorship forms that we'd photocopied in the library with my dad and doing shifts in 6-week holidays, us, you know, sponsoring. So I always knew I didn't want that life from a young age. I hated it, I resented it, you know, and I did like hate my parents at times. You know, I was like, I fucking hate you. I wish you were dead. I can't stand being here, you know, when I was in it.
Yeah.
And I just, sorry, what was you saying again before the question?
Just like, what did you want to be?
Oh, that was it, yeah. So I decided I didn't want to be that. And then it was when I moved into my own flat, when they left me, I went and stayed at my friend's for a few months, got my first flat when I was 16, back nearly 17. And I just had to jump into work to pay the bills. So I didn't know what I wanted to be. I just wanted to not go hungry and not have the rug pulled out from under my feet. So I just went to college and trained as a mechanic. I've always loved, I always loved driving. Even though my dad was a drug user and, you know, he used to smoke crack and all that, he'd still like have times when he had money, you know what I mean? And we'd have a motorbike.
You had nice touches.
Yeah, or he'd sell drugs for a bit for someone, and then we'd have a bit, he'd have a car, we'd have money. But it was all, it was never consistent.
It was temporary.
And it never went on what it should do. It was just like motorbikes or cars and stuff. So I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just knew I didn't want to do that. And then I just went and jumped into work, college, was a training as a mechanic, working in Costco in my little council flat, getting 80 quid a week from my apprenticeship, but working 80 hours a week. You know how it goes in them apprenticeships. And then, I just did that. I was in the rat race for years, fixing cars, working in pubs. And
did you ever want to have kids at those times, or has it always been the same?
No, I was always like, I will never bring a child into an environment that I'm not fully in control of. So even though I wasn't smoking crack or doing what my dad was doing, I still knew that my mum and dad didn't bring me into the world knowing that. Yeah. So it's not that they're bad people, like I say, they made a bad choice. So I didn't want to make a bad choice and have another little kiddie suffering because I've made a bad choice, because I've rushed into it or I've not sorted my own life out first, you know. So I was like,
would you never say never now? Or?
Oh no, if I met someone tomorrow and I had a kid, I'd love that. I'd love a family. I've got no family really, you know. So I've got no one really I can rely on. So I'd love nothing more to have a family. But I've been travelling the world, you know. I went travelling the world when I was sick of the rat race of just working and paying my bills, and I got away.
How was that, travelling the world? When you say that, where did you go?
Well, I shouldn't really say travelling the world because there's a lot of places in the world, and I probably only went to about 10 of them. But it was. It
must have been lovely, though.
It was
from
lovely.
Being in the life you've lived to getting out and seeing.
Yeah,
different side of things.
I just wanted to get out the rat race as well, because even though I'd come away from the trauma, even though it was still part of me, I suppressed it. It wasn't part of my life now. I wasn't going to let it affect me. I never went to the doctors and said, I've got depression because of my childhood. I mean, I
It's
would have.
normalised now,
It was
innit?
normalised, yeah.
No, it's normalised now. I mean,
Oh, it's normalised now, yeah.
you know, like back then it was.
Well, it was pretty normalised then because I'd gone through like 16 years. Well, I know, you know, when you're a baby, you don't remember, but from my first memory was trauma. So it was, once I'd come away from it, it wasn't part of me. I suppressed it, you know.
Yeah.
And because I was working 3 jobs and had a nice car and was going on holiday and had a successful relationship, I wasn't triggered up. I wasn't depressed. I wasn't anxious. I wasn't, I was just sick of the rat race, you know, of just going to work to pay your bills. So when I got the opportunity to go abroad when I was about 25, I went to Egypt and did a 6-month season there. And then I went to Spain, did a 6-month season there. Then I went back to Egypt.
And what was you doing? Like a rep? Was you?
No, I wasn't repping. I was a holiday entertainer. And there is a difference.
So are you like some sort of like red coat or something?
Yeah.
Are you like the one who's at the poolside in the morning with the kids?
Come and annoy us and play games all day. Yeah. But we was a family. It wasn't
Where
just
in
kids
Spain did
club.
you go?
Not Portugal, Tenerife. No, Tenerife. That's in Spain, isn't it?
It's a Spanish island.
Yeah, that's it.
Canary Island.
Yeah.
Oh, did you? I could imagine.
I've been
you doing
Portugal as well. So I'm not great with geography. And you think I would be.
that. I can imagine you doing that.
Loved it. Well, I learnt to speak a few different languages. Ja plocha говорю по-русски. Привет, как дела? So хорошо. Меня зовут Lily. Очень приятно. Just go fuck yourself in Russian. No, I didn't.
Russian, yeah.
I said hello and stuff
Go
in
fuck
Russian.
yourself.
Yeah. But no, I can only remember a few phrases now. I can't, I won't. I used to say I can speak a few languages. I could back then when I was in the countries doing it on a daily because I learned Arabic, I learned Russian and I learned Polish because I was in an Arabic country for 18 months in Egypt.
What was Egypt like?
Loved it. It's like my second home because I was there for the longest.
Was you just on a campus, like on a hotel complex?
We worked in a 5-star
You wasn't
hotel.
just like flossing around Cairo.
No,
was
like
you?
the stretch,
That's
the
next
club
level.
stretch and all that. Yeah, no, that's like club rep, you know, partying and on the strip and all that drinking. We weren't even allowed to drink. If you got caught drinking, you'd get sent home and sacked. Here's your passport, get home. You're a holiday entertainer and you're here to entertain, not get pissed. You know, so yeah, it was like Butlins in the sun. That's how I say, you know, like you say them little red coats. But I was in a 5-star hotel. So the level of entertainment was 5-star. So I was doing fire dancing every fortnight and singing and dancing on stages.
Fire dancing.
Yeah, doing comedy shows and getting dressed up in different characters and, you know, doing parodies and comedies. And I think that's what intrigued me into TikTok.
Yeah.
You know, when lockdown happened, because I'd kind of done the entertainment in a different way in different countries. And then I moved back to the UK.
Yeah.
Like just...
You're doing it now, aren't you?
Yeah. And then I ended up blowing up on TikTok, doing comedy skits.
So before we get to the TikTok...
Yeah, sorry, I jump all over.
No. It's natural. Like, this is what we're talking about. Yeah, you know, that upbringing, it sounds traumatizing.
Yeah.
You know, fair play to you for coming out the other side.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to hear it from you because I'm sure there's people out there who are going to benefit from hearing this because they've probably gone through it themselves. But also, you know, I understand more now the way you talk, the way you do. So, you know, fair play to you. You go on holiday, you come back, and then you get into a relationship.
Yeah, so I went working abroad in the different countries, and I thought, right, I miss the UK. You know, I've been away for years now. Let's go back to the UK. So I went back to. Well, actually, I got offered a job in Derbyshire, and I went working there for 2 years, running pubs and stuff because I met them on holiday and they owned a few establishments in Derbyshire. They were millionaires as well.
Wow.
So I thought, I'm definitely going to go and work for them and learn how to be a millionaire. Hello. So I did that. That's what took me away from coming abroad. I would have stayed abroad, but because I had another job opportunity in the UK and I'd not been back in the UK for years, I thought, it's a win-win. So I'd done that for a few years, but then I ended up going, this is a story. I ended up going back to Salford because a family member, I don't know whether to say which one, I probably won't, lied about having cancer. And basically was like, I need you to help me. I've got cancer. Please move back and help me. And emotionally manipulated me into moving back to Salford to help him out. I moved back to Salford, realised after a few weeks they were lying, and see you later, got rid of them. But with being back in Salford, I found myself meeting this fella who I'd known of for a while, like heard of him years ago, but didn't know him, didn't know his lifestyle, just knew his face, you know, because we're from the same town. And yeah, I started seeing him and everything was all right, and was going out and having meals and, you know, and like I was working and he was working. So, you know, just a typical, like we'd meet up at weekend and stuff. And then it started to get a bit serious and I started to see him a bit more often. And then he started to abuse me mentally, physically and verbally. And I realised that I need to get away from this situation. So I tried to get away. I was only with him a few months, but I was declining rapidly because I was at the verbal abuse and the mental and the physical abuse. He kicked me down the stairs and slapped me around the back of the face. And I was like, no, I need to get out. And I left and thought, you know, because it starts with a bit of shouting, doesn't it, and a few insults. And then I thought, I've never been in an abusive relationship. You know, I've dealt with trauma as a child and I've had a few slaps off my mum and stuff and, you know, had a few digs off her. But it's a different ballgame when I'm now an adult, you know, and I swore I'd never let anybody pull the rug out from under my feet again, you know, no matter what. And now I'm in a situation where I'm being abused. So I tried to get away. And he kept harassing me, you know, coming to my work. I couldn't go to work anymore because I was so scared. I phoned the police. They put a warrant out for him and was looking for him. And he just went on the run. Yeah, but he was still, you know, like messaging me, and then I changed my phone number and then I'd get a letter through my door, you know, a handwritten letter. And I was just ignore, just avoid, and it'll all die down. And then it started dying down and I thought, right, you know, I'm not as scared to come out the house now. I can try and get into another job because I've come out of work. And I literally, it's so crazy because I barely left the house for like 2 months because of the recovering from the abuse, going on the run and still threatening me. You know, I was traumatized. I was scared to death in my own house. I wouldn't go out. And then when I finally did go out, I jumped in my car, I went to my friends. And just before I got to my friends, I went in a shop. When I come out the shop, he was stood there. He had a tracker on my car. He kidnapped me for 6 days and had me driving around the country, selling drugs, taking drugs. And he was just twatting me along the way. He took my phone off me, my shoes off me. And he were basically like, I owe 50 grand out to drug dealers and you're going to help me get it because you fucked me up by phoning the police on me for it in your... So this is your fault. So now you're going to get me out of this situation or I'm going to kill you, basically. So he dragged me in the car and he had a tracker on my car, which I didn't know until, obviously, you know, he got me and he made me drive around the UK for 6 days pretty much, you know, staying in different hotels while he was selling drugs. He was forcing drugs up my nose because I was falling asleep, you know, at the wheel because I was driving for 12, 16 hours straight from Scotland to blooming Lancashire to Devon to then to Bristol, you know, just all... while he was doing whatever he was doing. And basically what I didn't know, but he was a drug dealer. And I didn't know when I got with him because I was working a full-time job. He was working his job, but really...
Oh, he never had like another job. It was just his job was a drug dealer.
Yeah, but I didn't know he was a drug dealer, you know, when I first got with him. I thought it was just like...
How long did that go on for, though?
Until the abuse started.
Well, so for how long was you with him?
Oh, I was only with him about 4 months altogether, or 3 months.
And then 4 months you didn't know he sold drugs?
No, and then when he started to, like say, you know, get a bit started to get abusive, I think it was less of his, at the front he was hiding, you know.
What was your first red flag, would you say, in hindsight?
First red flag. Probably like the control. Well, actually, no, the love bombing, you know, the excessive.
So at the time, that wasn't a red flag,
no,
you'd say,
that
but
wasn't
now,
a red flag. But now I'd be like, oh, that's yeah.
So for the people who might, you know, need to hear this,
yeah.
what
love bombing, where I'll buy you this, I'll get you this, you're the best, I want to be with you all the time. Don't go to work today, stay with me, I'll pay you what you'd make you
Fucking
work.
love bombing, that's controlling.
Exactly,
Psycho.
yeah. But it didn't start like that. It was just like, oh, I'll buy you a nice outfit. Yeah, you look nice in that. Then it'd be like, oh no, you look horrible in that. Like they'd be all nice to you in the shop in front of the person. Oh, don't she look nice? That's my girlfriend, that. Yeah, she look. But then as soon as you get out, it's like, oh, you fucking look horrible. Get that off, showing me up. And it's like, you've just bought it, me. But it quickly spiraled. Like I say, once the mask had dropped for him, it was like the abuse. Like it was a few, like I say, that kind of stuff. It was a few, like we'd go out to a pub and I'd be glad, I'd glance at someone, like, what are you looking at him for? Do you fancy him, dear? Is he better looking than me, is he? But then he'd laugh it off. So you didn't think it was anything bad, and then the next time you go out, it'd be a bit more like, you fucking looking at lads again? And it's like, no, I wasn't looking at lads anyway, and then it's stuff like that I think is a massive sign. And they say, it's just because I love you or I protect, or want to protect you. It's controlling, like you said, it's controlling, it's love bombing, and it can lead to serious abuse. Like I say, I was travelling the world, loving my life, working with millionaires. And then I come back to Salford and find myself now with some 2-bit drug dealer who's abusing me. He's got me having drugs. I'm selling drugs with him. I'm drink driving. I'm breaking the law because I'm in this situation with him. I didn't want to, but, I was so...
You the same age?
Yeah, similar age, yeah. I think he might be a year older than me. But as soon as I figured out what it was about and when he started hitting me and stuff, I fucked him off. And I didn't see him for months because I'm not like, oh, now I know what you're about. Well, I'm not going to be with you.
Did he try contacting you?
For months, like I say, ringing me, putting letters through my door, turning up at my work. I had to change my job and everything. And then when I did start going out, he kidnapped me and had me for 6 days driving around the UK. You need to help me get this money.
So when he kidnapped you, was like you hadn't seen him at all?
I hadn't seen him for about 3 months. He was on the run from the police because he was wanted for threats to kill, criminal damage because he smashed fuck out my Audi, a brand new Audi, and he just booted every window off it, smashed out windows. So criminal damage, threats to kill, even threatened to throw acid in my face, threatened to rape me and all that, pay a crackhead to rape me and all that vicious stuff, all over text, all over phone calls, all in letters. So obviously I reported him to the police. I reported it when he hit me and I got away. But then... this consisted, all this stuff happened. So I kept phoning the police. He's still harassing me. And they're like, we're looking for him. And then he phoned up the police. When he got me when I was with him in that 6 days, he was making me sleep on the floor like a dog, in hotel rooms and stuff like that. Yeah. He'd switch. 1 minute it'd be his baby, his girlfriend. Next minute I'd just be some...
And what would he say that? Sleep like a dog or...
Yeah, he'd be like, get on floor, you, like the dog you are and all that, ha. And then he'd just get in bed like that, be like, ha. But I'd be like, this is my chance to run. But I was so scared.
Yeah, I was going to say, was there any moments during those 6 days that, you felt comfortable being there, or was it total... Was you feel like your life was in danger?
Yeah, I mean, I was scared, but I wasn't like sometimes I was like, I could relax for a minute, because I felt like I knew that it wasn't going to kick off, or because I was in a situation where he wasn't going to kick off. But then, so for example, it was like, right, we need to go to this person's house, and then he'd go and take some bags out the boot, take that in there, get money, do whatever deal. I'd usually just, he'd either make me stay in the car, but he'd lock me in and he'd take my keys and everything. He'd take my shoes off me, take my phone off me, and I'm in the middle of Scotland and I'm like, right. And he'd just be stood like over there away from car. So I was like, if I do run, I might not get away. And then I'm in Scotland, what do I do? Where do I go? And then if he does get me, what's the repercussions that's going to happen? So there was 1 or 2 moments where I thought, I can get away, but I'm too scared. And then on the 6th day, he basically he'd got half of this money back, because it was all like, everything will be all right once I get this money back. Everything will be all right for him, but it's not for me. I'm just thinking, get out, get out, get out. He said, everything will be all right once I get this money. And then on the 6th day, the reason I escaped, I had to spike him with his own drugs to escape. I even told the police that. I said, I've spiked him with all these tablets just to get away. It's because he said, we was on our way back and he went in a casino and blew all the money he'd made back in the 6 days just off his head.
How much?
How much was it? Probably about 20 odd grand or something. I think he owed about 50 grand out, and I think he'd got about 20 odd back. And then he blew it all in buckets, and then his head went then. his head went, because I think that was his last option. And then I thought he could double it and get and then, you know, because he must have had a lot of pressure from other people who he owed this money to, which I didn't know the ins and outs. So yeah, he ended up blowing it all, and then I was panicking. Then I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get it now. And he said, right, we need to go back to an hotel in Bolton, and this is the closest I've been to home. So we're in Bolton, and then he's like, right, when we wake up in the morning, we go in Devon, and we're going to start our life again, and we're going to run off from these drug dealers that I owe 50 grand to, because I haven't got it, and they're going to kill us and all this. And I was like, oh my God. So I just thought, I've got to get out. I can't, if he gets, like, I can't do this, you know, and if he takes me to Devon and now he's not got the money, what if he gets worse, you know, or makes me do something?
Well, that's what I was going to say. What do you think?
I dread to think. And you know what? I've not spoke about this on social media at all. I don't even speak about it with friends, because I'm still pretty much having therapy, and will do for the rest of my life. No, I'm happy to, because if I can help people as well, and it just shows a different side of me as well. But yeah, I had to basically spike him and get away. Phoned the police and said, he's in this hotel, I've had to spike him. He's had me for 6 days. He's got a warrant out for his arrest for all this, what he's done to me anyway. Go and get him, because I'm going. Like, I'm going away from here, and I need to protect myself. And then this is a bit of a crazy one. And then the police go and they get him. And then I start getting phone calls off these drug dealers that he owes all this money to, saying, where's our money? Wow. I said, what? Oh, but I forgot to mention as well, when I drove off from the hotel and I escaped, when I went to like a safe place, a friend's not far away, I realised that I had loads of drugs in my boot. What he'd had, you know, and boxes of weed. Like, I don't know how much that comes to, you know, but a lot of stuff. And I thought, oh my God, like, what the fuck am I going to do here? I ain't getting off with this and having loads of people after me, but I need to go. But I don't know. So I went back to the last place that we went to. Wow. Yeah, which was like in Blackpool or something. And all my face was busted up and everything. And we'd been to that place the night before, and they seen all my face busted up, and even his...
From what? Busted up from what?
From him, hitting me and stuff when we're driving, and he's just flipping out, and he's elbowing me in face and dead legs and stuff. Yeah. So then when on the last night before I escaped, we'd gone to this person's house where he'd done this deal, you know, and then before the casino. So then I've gone back there and said, yeah, this is the last place we've come, and I don't know whose this is, whether it's half yours or other people's, but I don't want it. It's not mine, it's in my boot, you know, it's his, he's kidnapped me and all that. And they said, well, we thought you looked a bit sheepish when you come the other day. I said, yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? You could have said something, but, you know, whatever. So I said, here's all your shit, I'm going. And, you know what I mean? He's like, oh, why, what's going on? I said, well, he's in an hotel and I phoned police on him. He's twatted me, you know what I mean? I'm against my will, and I don't know who this stuff is, but it's not mine, and I don't want nothing to do with it. And I know that we come here last. So he said, oh, half of it's mine and half of it's not, but no worries. And then I got a few other phone calls, because basically he'd gone to jail and told everybody I'd robbed the 50 grand and used me as a scapegoat. But luckily, because I took that back, which he didn't know, you know, like, and then I knew somebody else kind of knew, because I grew up with him, you know, in Salford, gangsters, said, nah, she hasn't done that. She's worked all her life. You know, she's not out here robbing drug dealers and doing all that. So basically, they realised that he was lying, and they caught him out in his lies. And obviously nothing bad happened to me because I didn't do anything wrong. But he could have then... God knows, because they were naughty people. They were naughty people, and they thought I'd robbed their money for a split second. But, you know, it was obvious that he was lying and stuff, because I took all the other stuff back, you know, and I was still... I'm not like that, you know. I'm not a drug dealer. I'm not going to rob anybody. I was a victim of abuse, and I was just trying to get out. And I could have drove off with all that and sold it and started my life again. But
that's wild. Yeah.
But then it all come about that he'd been doing this for years. You know, he'd been robbing Peter to pay Paul, and he'd been abusing other women as well. So luckily, you know, he's known for that. And I'm known for obviously being a victim and getting away from it. But yeah, what a crazy story, eh? Sorry.
It's okay.
It's a lot, innit?
What have you learned from?
Well, from that, literally, to then I had to flee. He went to prison, and I fled across the country and went into a refuge. And I was suicidal. I tried to kill myself. I tried to jump off a bridge. I went to doctors, got loads of diazes and bottles of vodka. I just didn't want to be here. I couldn't cope, all the trauma from what I'd been through because I was in fight or flight. I was in survival mode. Now I'm sat in a refuge and I can't cope. It's all coming, because I'm slowing down. All the trauma, everything I've been through, it's all like in that abusive relationship, it's all hitting me. I couldn't cope. Tried to kill myself a few times. And then I just got help from the mental health team. They gave me diagnoses, said I had complex PTSD.
Yeah, people think, because you're away from the actual abuse,
that you're
good.
No,
they
I've been having therapy for the last 5 years. I've been having therapy for because of this. It started 5 years ago when I first fled, and I had to go to the mental health team, and it takes months to get help, and I got help off them, and then I got in work, and I moved into a new house, and then I got a job, started working for the Citizens Advice, started getting therapy, and then I blew up on social media. Crazy. And now I get paid to make funny videos.
Well, we'll jump onto that now.
Yeah.
Just quickly, what was the worst thing he done to you? Like when you look back at all the things he done, the punches, the elbows, the verbal abuse. Is there anything that stands out?
I think it's just on a whole, and because it was a short space of time, I wasn't in a 2-year prolonged situation or, like...
It's just a mad...
it was like all in a short space of time.
Do you ever still worry about him?
Yeah. I always will, I think that's that complex PTSD. Like if I walk down the street and a car door bangs too loud, I'm shaking. And the first thing is that him? Because that's the only that's what it associates with the trauma.
Yeah, like what about doing this now?
Yeah. Do you know what? I was thinking that, it was going, as I'm talking to you, I'm like, right, should I go that far with that or should I not, because he might hear it? But at the end of the day...
Well, you're not mentioning anyone's name.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, I feel quite powerful, actually, by telling this story, because it's been 5 years and there was a time, I haven't spoke about this on social media because it doesn't fit into my comedy skits or, helping in that way. So, but no, I feel quite empowered and I feel like, I've been shit scared for 5 years and I will be for the rest of my life to a certain extent, but I am not going to let it stop me from living my life. And I've got restrictions now. Like I couldn't go and work in Asda at 12 hours a day because someone will know I'm in Asda and I'm leaving at that time. So I've got restrictions like that, but that's where luckily social media has helped me out because now I get to make funny videos in my living room without leaving my house.
How did you start?
Oh God, wow.
Social media.
I was recovering from the abusive relationship. I'd just moved into my first house. I was 12 months away from the abuse. I was knee deep in just starting therapies. And I just started training with Citizens Advice, which was crazy because they was the one that helped me sort out all my PIP, my benefits, get me my house and the council, and they helped me. And then once they'd helped me do all that, after a year, they said, we'd like to now take you on and work so you can help people that have been through what I said. Oh, this is I could nearly cry because it was wow, this is a full circle moment. I've been abused.
You lived experience.
Yeah. I've worked all my life considering what I've been through. And now, because of what I've been through in that abusive relationship, I've got no car, no job, no life, no nothing. And I've got all these diagnoses. I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm a victim. And then after 12 months, it's no, actually now, we're going to give you a job. And I'm like, but you've watched me crying on the floor, trying to OD and kill myself because I can't cope, at the beginning of my journey. And now you're offering me a job. Wow. So that was a good...
Shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out to Citizens Advice. And also that was it gave me that extra boost to keep going and recovering in my journey, my getting away from the abuser and dealing with it. Because you can get away from them, but you're still dealing with the trauma. But then, I moved into my new house. I'm doing my therapy. I'm doing my training. But then lockdown happens. And I'm like, whoa, this is going to be difficult for me because I'm healing. I'm doing therapies. I'm training. For it all to just stop, it's not going to bode well me for that. I need to keep my mind busy until the world starts working again. So I found myself edging onto TikTok, did I? And was like, what's all this TikTok talking about? Because all kids were going on about, I think it was more dances back in 2020. This is when I first come on 2020. And yeah, it was just dances. So I started having a nosy, doing a little dance just to pass a bit of time.
Because you can dance.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know. Some people think I can't. Some people think I can. But I have fun, so that's all that matters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think because I did the entertainment and the singing and dancing abroad and, you know, and the holiday entertainer, it was easy to just gravitate to these little TikTok dances. And I started doing a few, posted them, wasn't really looking at followers and views, didn't really have any. I thought it was like Facebook where you had to like be a friend with somebody for them to see your stuff. But I didn't know that you could just post a video and millions of people could see your shit. And then that's what happened. And I just thought, right, oh my God, like.
Do you remember the first time a video went viral?
Yeah, it was growing up with a crackhead. Yeah, and do you know which one it was? It was, well, actually, no, it didn't go viral.
Was it the shoplifting one? No?
No, it was just like my first growing up with a crackhead joke was, Dad, have you got 50p? It's like, 40p, what do you want 30p for? Is 20p shirt with your brothers? You know, just some crappy little joke. And I think I've heard that from someone else, to be honest. And I just did a few like that and I got all right views. And then I did some more, carried on running with it. 100,000 views, 200,000 views, 500,000 views, 1 million views. Literally within a week, 2 weeks of posting on TikTok dances and these comedy skits, 150,000 followers, just straight away.
What's your, have you got like a favourite one you've done, like a favourite joke or of the growing up with a crack addict, let's say?
I don't know, you know, I don't think I have.
Does one come to mind?
Yeah, it does actually.
All right, then, down the camera.
Right. But this is a bit of it's not a quick fire one, it's a bit of a 60-second one. So this one was, it's my 10th birthday and I want to go swimming. So I said to my dad, can we go swimming for my birthday tomorrow, please? He goes, yeah. So go on, love, we'll go swimming. So I go to bed all excited, get my swimming bag ready. And I wake up in the morning and I knock on my dad's door, Dad, come on. It's my birthday, we're going swimming. He's like, all right, love, 1 minute, we'll go. We're just waiting for Brian to pick us up. That's his friend. So Brian comes after, 5 hours later and we finally go swimming. And I'm so excited to go swimming, because I've wanted to go for my birthday and my dad's going to take me and we're in Brian's car and we're going swimming. We pull up at the swimming baths. The police rush us, don't they, and arrest me dad for something he's done. So no swimming for us. But before he goes, he says, please, before they cuff him up and take him in, and he says, oh, come on, mate, to Copper, it's my daughter's birthday, please. Let me give her a hug before you take me away. They go on then. He gives me a hug, he fucks off, runs off, see you, love. Don't forget to wear your goggles. And chips off and leaves me at car park with my swimming bag and my goggles in hand. And just stood next to a copper like, so, but that's a true story. So that was one of me. But I told that funnier because when I do my content, I'm not live, I do it better. So
yeah.
And that was off like an observational joke. But that one sticks to mind because, I don't know, I think that one got a lot of views. That was one of my biggest viewed ones.
It's true.
And it's true, yeah. But a lot of them are true, to be honest. I exaggerate some as well for entertainment purposes.
It's a comedy sketch as well, isn't it? Like where you're mixing the truth.
Exactly.
And I'm sure there's some that you think, you've got to write some of these scripts.
Yeah. Some of them are just blatantly made up and just my crazy sense of humour just running away with myself.
Your experiences have conjured these stories up.
Exactly, yeah. And I think it's the way you tell them as well and the way you, like you say, deliver the message.
Yeah, of course.
And thank you to both of you for letting me come on here today because I did want to show a different side of me rather than just, the council estate girl on the internet.
Yeah, no worries, Lil. Honestly, it's, I'm really enjoying it. It's fascinating. And, I think the good thing about social media is we can, there's someone out there that we can all resonate to. And some people can resonate to thousands, millions.
Yeah.
That's what's important. I think it's about using social media for the good reasons, not the bad. And of course, sometimes it can just be we're in a bad situation and watching someone just cracking jokes will take away and distract us from the bad things.
Yes.
But I think if you can get someone who could not only distract you from your own, problems, but also inspire you and educate you and motivate you, then you're the top dog. You're the gold standard. You're doing amazing in life. I think you're doing God's work in a way.
Oh, thank you. And my dream, my long term.
I never said you were. I'm
No, I know what you mean. In general, we are, yeah.
And obviously you are doing that.
My biggest goal, my biggest dream is to create a foundation, the Council Estate Queen Foundation, where I can basically provide opportunities for underprivileged kids growing up around drug abuse, around trauma, around gambling, whatever it may be. They just don't have them opportunities. And then they think like, right, well, I will smoke that crack pipe. I will go and rob that post office. I will go and do that because I've got nothing else going for me. So I want to create a foundation, like an entertainment thing. Like the Prince of Wales Trust thing. The Prince of Wales thing, is it, where they send the kids to do rock climbing and stuff like that, but better. And but I want to go international as well. Because I travelled and lived and worked in different countries, and that changed my perspective on life. That levelled me up as well. Unfortunately, I come back to the UK and got in an abusive relationship, which took me down a few pegs. Because imagine how far I would have gone if I didn't have that set. But you can never think like that. That's a good question. Yeah. So when we was young and social services did get called, we was always made aware. Social services are coming around on Tuesday, kids. So don't say you're hungry, right? Don't say it is some money. Don't cause any problems because you don't want to end up in care. It's worse. And this will happen and that happened. My mum used to say that because she went in care. She had a really bad childhood. It's not my story to tell. I don't want to get into it. But she was in the care system, so she used to scare us with that. You think you got it bad here, wait till you get in care.
And did you ever want to go into care? Did you ever think care would be better for me?
Sometimes I thought any situation would be better than here.
Yeah.
But then I used to always think, but then I've got mates who live in care homes. And I used to hang about with them and think, and they, it's not all swings and roundabouts. So, yeah. But then, like, I think one of my siblings went in school once and told the school, like, my mum and dad are, abusing us and smoking crack and not feeding us. And, yeah. And we did have the odd person come round, but because they were registered drug users, getting the meth registered, you know what I mean? It wasn't a shock to the government. They knew, the services know they're registered drug users. But there's food in the cupboards on the day they come round, and we've got clothes on our back on the day they come round. We've borrowed a quilt and a pillow from next door and a telly from up the road. So it looks the part. And back 20 years ago, you get away with that. More now, they're on you more, aren't they? You just whip your kids off you for looking at them wrong nowadays. So, yeah, there was times like that. But I think, it was back in day, wasn't it, when you could blag it more, pull the wool over people's eyes more.
Okay, so we've established that, what your aim is with what you're doing. You said you feel like you're doing a good thing. Do you feel like it's a fine line between that though, or?
With what, sorry? With
the TikToks you do and stuff. Do you think there's a bit of, it could be,
Well, I do.
A fine line?
Just like yourself, with your opinion, that I've had other opinions like that before, with the growing up with a crackhead, do you mean? Or do you mean in general?
Just in general.
Oh, the TikTok in general.
Do you think that, it's a good example, or do you think that there could be, in some sort of way, setting a bad example for people? Oh,
yeah, I think there's a 50% one and 50% of the other.
Okay.
I think, like, TikTok's a brilliant place you can help so many people. You can... show that, like say, I want to help the kids, and I started with social media, got myself a platform, and that, I'm going to grow from that. But people get platforms and they're bad influences, aren't they? Yeah. So I always try and do a bit of both. I always try and do my comedy because, you don't sign a contract when you come on the internet to be a good role model, and people are not.
Well, this is a question I want to ask you. It's the same on YouTube. It's the same on most communities, really. Do you think you should, if you drive, you have to have a driving license. Mm-hmm. Do you think you should have to go through some sort of test, let's say, to be allowed a TikTok account? Or
right, yeah, like Yeah, that would be a good idea. It depends on how they do it though, you know, like what would be the test? Like a mental,
Well, I think there should be
a mental health test
well, no, maybe just apply for the license. You know, anyone could probably get the license, but you know, if you know, similar to like striking down, but you know, these are the standards, yeah, right. And if you fucking don't abide by them, then
you're gone.
You're not having an account again.
Yeah,
like.
yeah. I think it should.
And I'm not trying. That you know, we could be diving into the realms here of cancellation, which I'm totally against. I'm all for free speech, but at the same time, I just don't think it's acceptable how people can just drive and feed utter shit to people, and people be influenced by it, and people as well, like on TikTok, who are scamming people for
I was
money.
just going to say, this is when you said about being bad influences, I quickly thought about the live side of TikTok where it's...
Well, let's talk about the dark side.
Yeah, let's talk about it. It's a lot more rife. Like there's a lot of bad influences over there, and they tend to be being a bad influence because it's driving in money. People love to watch a car crash, don't they? So people will create drama. I've seen people say...
Or Jeremy Kyle.
That's it.
So well.
But like, we all like to watch a bit of a car crash, but then when it gets to like a con artist manipulating abuse, I find it, you know, and being a bad role model. I've seen TikTokers self-harming, pretending they're being abused.
Alpha Bad and that.
That's it, yeah, there's a few of them.
Is she still on the scene?
I think so, but I don't watch much, you know, because I'm a creator. I don't see it.
There's a few out there I've been a bit, there's that Chelsea Lee Art
CLA,
as well.
yeah. Well, she doesn't like the fact I've got a blue tick and she hasn't.
She said that, did she?
Yeah. She was like, I'm more famous. You're not even famous, darling. I'm more famous than you. I said, well, where's your blue tick then, hon?
This ain't even a fucking competition.
Yeah.
This is the mentality of
This
some
is
of
it,
them.
but because they think that, well, I get billions of views, yeah,
And
for
the other
acting a
thing,
fool.
these people, like, maybe they have, but what I noticed early on is these TikTokers who think the dog's bollocks, they haven't got an Instagram following or a Facebook or a YouTube.
Because they can only act a fool. They've created this, like, world on TikTok, this reality, this con artist thing on the live side of TikTok. So basically, when I used to watch it, because I went and did the live side of TikTok, because I thought, you know, there's content side and there's live side.
The live side, I like
That's
that.
it. But I'm not a live streamer, so I'm like, I can't do my comedy skits on live, so how am I going to do it? But I thought, let me just go on and be a laugh and have a laugh and, you know, do my rounds, do some duels with all the other TikTokers on there and see what's what. So I went live on TikTok for a week to do the weekly rankings, you know, because there's two sides of TikTok, and I was gifted £10,000. I was actually gifted £20,000, but TikTok take half.
Wow.
So I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow. So, but because I was on the live side of TikTok now, and I was up there with all the other live streamers who were doing the weekly rankings as well, it was quickly apparent that this is a seeded, naughty side of TikTok. It's not just gifting your favourite creator to put them on a leaderboard. Some of these TikTokers are manipulating, abusing, self-harming online, you know, lying, cheating, triggering all kinds of people. I think it's disgusting, you know, and to the point where I can't even go on TikTok Live. I can't be around that because I know there's bad things that go on there. And 99% of the people that are live on the weekly ranking are solely for a paycheck. And some of them are nice people and they're just doing it for the paycheck. Some of them are really bad people, abusers, con artists, narcissists, people that really need to go and get help and not come on the internet.
Yeah, like I think if you look at some of these people on TikTok Live, what I've noticed is if you click on their accounts, there's they have no character, there's no content, there's no videos.
Because they're just live streaming for cash.
Videos, yeah.
But they're hiding behind the fact that I'm a creator. No, you create a headache and an overdraft.
You create nothing like this. Like I've looked on your content and the only videos you've uploaded was, hi guys, I'm going live in an hour.
Please
Make sure you come over.
Yeah.
And you're like, what do you actually do?
Yes.
Why are people giving you money?
Because they can sit on live and give the best story to get it.
It's basically the futuristic way of begging on
the streets.
You might as well be sat on the streets begging
I
scamming.
used to say, at least when you're on the streets and someone asks you for a quid, they'll give you a magazine to read in return on the way home. But all you get off these is headache, like I say, bad influences.
And you do get, you know, we can talk about it. Like you do get the buskers, you do get people playing instruments. Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you know, you're earning it,
Yeah,
then, you?
yeah.
You know, people trying to sell stuff on. Fair enough. But when you literally, you might as well be, you know, like. Unfortunately, I used to do some of these things. You might as well be at the train station blagging that you've lost your ticket.
Literally, I've made jokes and said some of the I grew up around cons trauma, trying to pull one over on someone, and I see it all on this TikTok live, but just rebranded behind a TikTok.
And then as well, you'll have those, you know, the clever scammers maybe
Yes.
who would do the hustle. You know, I've lost my train ticket. Help me, that type of thing. But then you got the people who would literally just manipulate someone who's on universal credit, take their fucking bank, take their post office card and cash out. You got those people as well.
They'll literally, like, say you're on live and someone will send you a big gift for like a few £100 and you'll be like, oh my God, that's brilliant. Most of these will then come off live when they've done the live and they'll get in their inbox and go, oh, thank you for the gift. Oh, you couldn't send us another one. Oh, this or that. And then it's a straight con then. No, I'm not saying that happens. You know, there is a handful of people on that go live and
so
get
can you
gifts.
only you can only get gifts when you battle, or can you get
No,
gifts?
you can get gifts just sat there on your own. But when you're battling, it's just encouraging, you know, it's competition, innit? And it's like, I want to win, you want to win. So, and TikTok know exactly what they're doing because it's a corporation and they encourage it.
Yeah, because they're taking half.
Of course they are. But listen, like I say, sitting on live and showcasing your skills, your talent and being a good influence, all for. You get gifts for that all day long. But most of these con artists who call themselves creators are just con artists. And they just...
Is there any out there that like you can't, like anyone you can name, like who people can watch out for?
To be honest, I wouldn't want to say too much because I'll by the time I get on train, I won't have an account left.
Really?
They'll send all trolls over.
Well, they can do that.
Yeah, they get jealous, don't they? Because
wow.
Because they, like I say, you know, you're shattering their dream.
Okay,
their
then let's word this in another way. Then, what do people need to watch out for?
Yeah. So if you're watching somebody on TikTok and you want to send them a gift because you like them, fair enough. But you are not responsible to pay the bills for their problems, you know, because that's what a lot of them do. Oh, I just need this money for this, or I just need the money for that, you know. And then, but they'll do a lot of that privately. How they get you publicly is, we need to beat this person because they're doing this wrong. They're an abuser, or they're a this or they're a that. So I'm going to stand up and I'm going to fight about getting this abuser off the app. But really, they just want the paycheck. They don't care about the abuser. So they pretend to be a hero.
What? And this abuse is on the weekly ranking, is
This is on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, on that weekly
but when
ranking.
he's here, we're trying to get him off. What? Like, you got to send me a gift to knock them off the weekly ranking, is it?
So basically, we want to get the wrong uns off the app. So what we'll do is we'll all get money to do that.
I'll be a wrong un.
Yeah. So basically,
I'll be a wrong un to get the wrong un off the
They
app.
shouldn't be on here getting money, right? So I'm going to stand up against them, but I'm going to ride up the rankings to do that. So it's like, right, so if you want to be a good person and you want to get this bad influence off the app, do it. But why do you have to get gifts and do the weekly ranking and battle to do it? It's all a manipulation.
So give me some red flags then of these people who you should avoid. Not names, just red flags. Like, for example, I think a red flag to me would be if they haven't got any other platform, if they're not on Facebook or they're not on Instagram or they haven't got a YouTube channel.
That'd be a red flag.
If they're just on TikTok, to me, that's a red flag.
See, it's difficult because they get sucked in from the live, so they're in from the live, so they're not interested. Like
So if they've got no videos either.
Yeah, so I see it. I think where these people are going to be manipulated is they're going to be on TikTok and then it's going to scroll up on FYP, some idiot, either being nice or causing drama or something that someone's going to want to watch, and then they're going to gift, because they either gift drama, they'll gift for people for drama. They'll pay to watch a car crash and the TikTokers go, yeah, come on then. And they'll create fake drama so people pay it. So just avoid the drama, avoid the sob stories, and if you want to gift someone, do it because you enjoy what they're doing.
What do you think about these people who have made like famous on there as well, who, you know, like people like that Bevo, who like they're just eating food, like there's no longevity in that, is there?
That's it. I didn't know, was he going before he blew up with that?
He's been around, definitely. I've seen him. I was gonna say I've seen his clip around, like, but yeah, like. What do you think of the whole thing of people making off social media? Do you think can't fault them, or do you?
Yeah, I think can't fault them. I think you can change your life. Like, for example, for me, I come on TikTok and I was fleeing from an abusive relationship. Behind the comedy skits, I couldn't leave the house. I was having therapy. I was, it was really bad. And I got offered all the opportunities to change my life because I just did a few videos on the internet and blew up doing, growing up with cricket. So, but I couldn't take them opportunities at that time. So, but now I am. But also I do believe social media, it can be great. You can change your life. You can make yourself something. You can make opportunities for you happen. But then I believe that there's a lot of idiots also manipulating that and doing it the wrong way. Manipulating people through the gifts or even just as simple as growing a following but being fake. I mean, you can be fake when you're just posting videos because you're not live. You can fake it for 2 years. And I come across a lot of that. I've been on here 4 years, and I'll come across a lot of that. You think they're all right. Even I get sucked in as a creator. And then it's like, all right, now I see how you move because I've been watching you long enough. So I think, good advice is to just watch them. Don't just take the words, what they say. And again, this live side of TikTok, I don't fuck with because it's just full. There's very little, there's 1% of people that are decent and are just, on that live side anyway, that are just showcasing the talent and the skills, having a go at the competition. I mean, I've done it once or twice, but there's people on there every fucking week calling it a job and getting more desperate and being more of a bad role model to do so. Yeah. So just avoid them. Because again, I don't think it matters with your followers and if you've got on different, because they get sucked in from the lives, as well.
Yeah. Fair enough. So what's your plan then, Lil? Like, where do you want to go with this?
So I've just signed with a talent agency because I've been on social media for a while and I've been doing it as a hobby. But now I'm like, I want to level up now. Now I can go out the house because I've had my therapies. I'm not shaking like a shitting dog every time I'm in the house. My dad, someone tried to murder my dad a year ago. Attempted murder investigation is still ongoing, but it's not looking good, is it? When it's been a year and no one's been charged. He's brain damaged, but he's been moved to a nursing home close to me now. But for the last year, I've had to put my life on hold. Couldn't do anything with my social media, couldn't make any opportunities happen for myself. Because we can all post videos or sit on live begging, but then that's all if you want to level up, you've got to, like I didn't have no blue tick. I had the followers, but I wasn't verified. I wasn't anything like that. And I thought, right, I'm going to make shit happen now. So I went and made it happen, got verified, signed with a talent agency. You never know, you could see me on the next Big Brother. You never know.
Make sure you shout us out.
Yeah. So I'm just, like I say, I'm not necessarily want to be a TikToker for the rest of my life. I wouldn't even class myself as a TikToker. I'm not offended, but I'd say I'm a comedy creator because I do videos on multiple apps now, not just TikTok. But yeah, I just want to entertain, and if I can get paid, whether that means on TikTok or on telly, let's go. And when I say paid from TikTok, I don't mean begging for gifts off the public. If I get paid, I get paid through the app.
From
you know what I mean?
Creating good content.
From the in-stream ads and getting paid like that.
Yeah. Would you like to do more about raising awareness for, abuse and addiction as well?
I would love to do more. Like,
I think that's what's so good about you. You've got that whole package.
Yeah.
I would like to actually take this moment to say really that, I asked you at the beginning of this podcast, what does it take to be a council estate queen? And I think growing up in the environment you did, both parents being addicts, starving, moving from house to house, then, making something of yourself, traveling, coming back, then being a part of an abusive relationship, being kidnapped and going through all that adversity you've been through, to now, during lockdown, set up a mini empire for yourself, and
I was so close to deleting it, when I first blew up, and I wouldn't be council estate queen. I wouldn't have branded myself. I wouldn't have my merchandise for people to buy.
Well, I think for people out there, that's what it takes to be a council estate queen.
Oh, yeah.
Those things you've done.
Oh, yeah.
And
Thank you.
no, like we all love the chav. If that's what you want to say, and I hope that people will be inspired through listening to this side of your story.
Oh, I hope so.
And those who have followed you anyway will see
a bit.
I'll love you even more.
Yeah, because I've held a lot of this back because, again, I'm not a reality star. I share a little bit when I've joked about growing up with a crackhead. I feel I've got a responsibility. Yeah. But, yeah, we spoke a lot today that I wouldn't really share. So it's nice too. And people to see a bit of a deeper side.
Yeah, and for those people who, those people out there who want to start following you, TikTok, where else?
TikTok, Instagram and Facebook, and my username is Council Estate Queen on all of them. I also have my dad's page, John's Journey. A lot of people have been interested in that, his brain recovery journey. So if you like the comedy, follow me. If you like the recovery for, it's all cute with my dad.
How is he?
He's doing okay. He's settling into his nursing home well. I mean, he's got no mental capacity, so he doesn't know what day it is. He doesn't remember the conversations we've had after 5 minutes. He don't remember memories from before. He don't remember memories we make. This is why I film everything when I'm to show him. I've got a picture wall just been delivered, so I'll pick photo tiles so I can go and do a big massive wall in his room full of tiles. So he's got memories.
Mother?
Don't even go there. Some people are narcissist abusers, mate, on or off drugs, and even though she's not on drugs anymore, there's a whole story there. I won't have anything to do with her. She's dangerous. Like I say, I'm not judging her because of what I went through as a child. As you know, I've got a different relationship with my dad, because he's a nice person behind the drugs. Some people are not, are there?
Yeah.
So
that's what I said.
That's it.
Some nice people use drugs, but some horrible fuckers do
as well. Yeah. So I don't have a relationship with my mum because she's not a mum. Some people don't know what the word mother means. So, so it sounds a bit bad. That sorry, it is a bit extreme. That, but again, she's my abuser. She's a narcissist abuser and she's still my mother and I don't want anything bad to happen to her, but I've had a lot of therapy, a lot of trained psychologists, that I've worked with, and I've had therapy, and I know to stay away from narcissist abusers, whether they've got the title of a mother, a brother, a son, a daughter. Some people, you can't provide a relationship on a shoestring that you've provided, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to keep getting beat down and beat down.
Not even meeting you halfway.
You wouldn't tell your daughter to go back to an abusive fella. Why would you tell someone to go back to an abusive parent,
There was something I wanted to ask actually about the abusive relationship side.
Yeah.
Just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
He will have his version of events.
Course. Yeah. Narcissist usually.
What do you think his version would be?
Well, we know half of his version because he tried to say that I robbed him, and he, so that was an old story though, because that could come about. But it'll be a typical narcissist, won't it? Like, she was the weirdo, she was the problem. I only hit her because she hit me, or even though I've never hit him, But do you know what? I try not to think too much about him because, he's got to live every day being a narcissist abuser. Ha, ha, ha. While I get to heal and live my life and become the best version of myself.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's took me a few years to get to that mentality, but even to come on a public platform and speak about that. And I've never spoke about that for the last 4 years. I've said I've been in an abusive relationship, but that's it. I've never gone, and we could get deeper, but we ain't got time. But
you deserve all the happiness in the world.
Oh, thank you.
I really mean that.
Thank you.
I want to say thank you for coming on. What we do with all our guests is ask them to see us out with a positive message down the camera to the people.
Okay.
Now, it could be about whatever you want, but see us out.
Life is a beautiful struggle, but it's there to be lived. So keep living it.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Because it's a bit shit, but yeah.
I want a hug, man.
Yeah, give us a hug. I'm sorry for being all...
No, don't be still putting What do you mean? You're being real, man. No. Shut up. Where am I down this one on my hat? Guys, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I did. Changed my perception on you, definitely. I think you're a top girl, and I think you deserve all the happiness in the world. You are like a genuine human, and what you see is what you get with you. So, again, thank you so much for coming. I wish you all the happiness in the world. I hope that you have your own comedian show. I hope that you put smiles on people's faces. And yeah, I hope people enjoy this podcast. So until next time, stay central.
Stay central, baby.
The Central Club.